We talked about tuple last time. Tuple is a collection of elements. It can be a mix of different data types. It is immutable, and it has some built-in functions that we can use. And list is same like tuple, except that it is mutable. So you can change. You can change an element. You can add more elements. You can delete elements, and so on. Okay. So lists are mutable, and there are three different ways in which you can add elements. Append will add one element at a time only. If you try to add two elements, it will give you an error. But that one element can be a scalar, or it can be a vector too. That one element can be another list. It can be another tuple. It can be another dictionary. Okay. And extend is the same as append, but the only difference is extend, if the added element is not a scalar, if it is a vector, then it will extract the elements from that vector and add them up as individual elements. And inserts an element at a given location. Okay. And removing, again we have remove. You specify what element you want to remove, and then it will, the content of the value of the element, or you use pop. Again, pop is like what we discussed just a couple of minutes ago. You can specify an index, or or if you specify 0, then of course it's going to be the first element. And pop, once again, like what we discussed just a few minutes ago, is going to remove the element from the list. So the list will become shorter and shorter as we do pop. Okay. And then you have in keyword. Okay, you can check whether a particular item is in the list or not. And this is useful to avoid errors, because if you try to access an element in the list, and if it is not there, then it's going to give you an error, right? And the program will stop. So you can do this, you can use the invert to check whether it is there or not, and then make sure that it is there before you access it. Concatenation is like tuple, you just add, it just extends. And extend is more efficient. So that's where we stopped last time. So now we have sorting. Okay. Tuple you cannot sort because tuple is immutable. You cannot change. Right? List you can sort. And there are two ways of doing it: sort method and then sorted method. Sort method doesn't return back anything. It sorts, and we call that in place. So that means the sorted elements will become the new content of the variable. Okay, it's sorted in place. Okay, if you use sorted, then it's going to return, but the original list will still be in the old order. That's the difference between sort and sorted. And you have key. Key is a little more advanced topic. You can use key as something that you calculate from the elements. So we'll talk about that just a minute. So does not return. So sort method is in place, does not return anything. Default is ascending order. You can say reverse is the keyword. So reverse equal to true will be in reverse order. So here we have an example. Okay. So L6 dot sort, and then we are just going to use the default, so there's just parentheses. So now you see that if you print L6, it is in ascending order. So the L6 has been permanently changed now. Okay, the old order is now gone because the new order is in place. Now L6 dot sort. Now if you put reverse equal to true, then it's going to do it in the reverse order. Okay. So here is another example, same thing. So L7 is you're using the list function. So the string analytics is now split into each individual letter, and that becomes the elements of the list, L7. So you have these elements in L7, and then L7 dot sort is going to sort alphabetically. Okay. So numerical ascending order, alphabetical ascending order for string elements. Okay. Sorting with the key. So key is optional. So here is how it will work. So the key is a function. You can define your own function. We will talk about how to define function later on. Right now, you can use any one of the functions available for the values in the list. So if the values in the list are strings, so a string has a function called len that gives you the length of the string. Okay? So you can use that function here as the key. So what this will do is it will take each element, figure out the length, and then use that to sort. Okay? So length of 2, length of 3, and then 5. Okay? So that's how key works. Sorted, and here is another example of key, ABS. ABS will, these are for numbers. So ABS is a function available for numbers, so it's going to use the absolute value. ABS stands for absolute value, so it's going to sort according to the absolute value. So if you don't use key, then the first number will be minus 100. So minus 100 is the smallest number. That's where it will start without the key. So with the key, then it's the absolute value that is used. Yeah. LEN is length, short length. Okay. Now, this is a little more advanced way of using key. So this is the function that we have defined. So these two are functions available already in Python. Okay. Now this is a simple function. Okay. It can be a one-line function. If it is a one-line function, we use what is called a lambda function. Okay. We'll talk about lambda function later on. It can be a function that we define outside the line. So you can define a function right here and then call that function and determine the value to sort as the key to sort. Okay. So what this does is key equal to, so lambda x, so x will be the number that's iterated over, and this is the action that is performed. So this is what? Modulus of 3, so divide by 3, and then the remainder. So that's what is used for. So 12 will have a modulus of 0. 3 also will have 0, so that also will have 0. And then 2, and then okay. And lambda function is a very useful function. We'll talk about it later on. By the way, Excel has introduced lambda function now. It's available in the. It's still, I think, beta, but it's going to come in. It's going to come live very soon in Office 365.